Yo, what's going on, boys? It's Yap MMA back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the most hated UFC fighters on the roster. You know, some that get too much hate, some that the hate is a bit reasonable. Uh, but we got no hate. We're trying to be positive in this video, but let's just dive right into it. Starting off the list, we got Aljamain Sterling, man. I think Aljo, even though he's moved up to featherweight, the hate is still real. The hate is still real. I know Piotr Jan is a fan favorite, of course. Of course, he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Piotr Jan, but like, man, you got to give Aljo some slack, man. You gotta give him some slack. You know, I love Piotr Jan, but Aljamain Sterling, it's not his fault necessarily that he got kneed in the face. It happens. It's a UFC. Things happen. Shit happens. You're in the octagon. The adrenaline's pumping through your body. Like, stuff happens. Anyways, ever since that, I feel like Aljo has gotten an immense amount of hate. You know, even going into his most recent fight against Movsar Evloev, man. And Movsar's, well, we'll talk about him later. To be honest, he is on this list, but Movsar is one of the more disliked fighters as well, and I would say most people were rooting for Movsar in this fight. I mean, it was kind of split 50-50. You got two guys who were quite hated in the UFC, to be fair, and we got the Funk Master, man. He gotta get a little bit more hate off his back. He doesn't really deserve it, especially this late in his career. Losing to Evloev, it kind of shows that he can't really get a shot at the title at featherweight unless he pulls off something extraordinary. He is getting up there in age. I think he's 35, 36 or something. So, it's going to be difficult for him to really get a breakthrough in featherweight at this age. So, we got Movsar. What am I saying, Movsar? We got Aljamain Sterling. I'm thinking about Movsar. We got Aljamain Sterling here on the list. But we'll move on to the next. Big Ank, man. Big Ankalaev. Come on. Big Ankalaev, man. You know, like, the hate, it's not justified, man. It's not justified. I know people that love to hate on Ankalaev just because he is a Dagestani light heavyweight and he doesn't really wrestle and he doesn't really have crazy power or knockout power, but dude's been undefeated for over 5 years. I think he's on an 11 fight win streak. And the guy does not deserve the hate. He does not deserve the hate. He gets so much hate. He's on an 11 fight win streak, and he still hasn't gotten a shot at the title, man. He still hasn't gotten a shot at the title. And Alex Pereira keeps jerking him, bro. He keeps jerking him and telling him, you're not going to get a shot at the title. It's kind of jokes, but at the same time, you got to feel bad for the man because, like, yo, I mean, he definitely beat Alex Pereira's toughest challenge. We know this. We know this. Everybody knows this, man. Like, you can't deny that Pereira's toughest challenges at light heavyweight are Ankalaev, and I mean, it was Jan Blachowicz. That was his only tough challenge because it was a potential, of the takedown. It was a risk of wrestling and takedowns. Nobody wants to take down Alex Pereira, man, except for Big Ank, except for Ankalaev, man. So the dude does not deserve the hate. He does not deserve the hate. He's had so many wins back to back to back to back. Just beat Rakic. I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining fight, but it was a clear win for Ankalaev. He shows that he's got amazing striking and he can deal with people on the ground. He can take it to the ground if he wants to. And that's where Alex Pereira struggles, man. Nobody seems to want to take him to the ground. Ankalaev, once he gets that shot at the title, bro, I think he takes that shit. I think he takes that shit. I mean, a lot of people think Alex Pereira wins that fight. It'll be real close. But I think if it goes the distance, Ankalaev will get the win. But, I think he's definitely one of the more hated fighters in the UFC right now. So we gotta chill on Ankalaev, man. Give him a break. Give him a break. Let him get the title shot. Come on, Dana. Come on, just give him the title shot, man. I'm not an Ankalaev fan. I don't think many people are Ankalaev fans, but like at some point, man, it's the same thing as like when Merab was on his win streak, man. Like just give him the title shot. If he loses, then just you don't have to give him the title shot ever again if you want to, but just give him a shot, man. Come on. But hey, that was a little rant. We're gonna move on to the next most hated, where I got Israel Adesanya. I mean, this is one where I'm like, people be hating on him too much. Real shit. People be hating on Izzy too much. I get some of the hate, but it comes to a point where this dude is one of the best middleweights of all time. People forget that this dude is one of the best middleweights of all time. Beat so many guys in his prime, man. And people say that Izzy is out of his prime and he's done. People be saying all sorts of shit. They're saying he's cooked, he's done, his career's over, cut him, like all sorts of shit, man. The UFC fan base is absolutely crazy. But that's why we love the UFC. That's why we love it, because everybody just be talking shit when they can't back it up. You love to see it, but I mean, Izzy just gets too much hate, man. He gets too much hate. Come on, like this guy does not deserve this much hate, especially at this stage in his career when he's proven so much. He's one of the only guys to beat Alex Pereira. The only guy to beat Alex Pereira in the UFC by knockout. Nasty shit by Izzy. He's been knocked out by Alex, but they evened it out, sort of evened it out at least. And Izzy was able to accept that he lost to Pereira 3 times. He's able to finally accept that, all right? And he just gets too much hate for what he's done in the UFC, what he's done for the promotion, and the amount of amazing performances he put on. So, like, come on. Give this man a break. But yeah, he's proven it so many times. I think he's done totally way enough in the UFC throughout his career to be able to get some respect on his name. But yeah, just give Izzy a little bit of respect. But we'll move on to Mario Batista, boys. Mario Batista. I might get mauled for this one. But yo, all right. I know how it looks. Mario Batista, the hate is a little bit deserved in this one. The hate's a little bit deserved. I know my videos about no hate, but Batista did mess up, bro. He did mess up. He robbed a legend of a potential title run, man. You never know. Aldo could have gone a couple more wins after Batista if he beat him, and Mario robbed that from him, man. He robbed it right out of his hands, robbed the fans, he robbed the UFC, robbed everybody, and he played a dirty game. He played a dirty hugging game. But at the same time, people got to realize that he's just doing what he can to win the fight. I think it's a mix of bad judging as well. There's been a lot of bad judging recently. It's been expressed to Dana White, it's been expressed to the UFC, and this is definitely a scenario of bad judging. There's been a whole lot of worse decisions in 2024. All right, we gotta chill. This was a bad decision, but it wasn't the worst decision. All right, and Batista, he's still a decent fighter, man. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere in his career. I don't think he's gonna get that title. Don't think he's gonna even get a title shot or any sorts. I don't think so. I think this year, 2025, he's gonna get flatlined, but that's just me being an Aldo fan. But I don't think he deserves this much hate. I mean, the dude got sent death threats, to his family, to him. Like, it's just like, guys, calm down. He was doing his job. Real shit. He was doing his job. Like, he may have played a dirty game, and we can never let him slide with that. We'll always hold him to his head with the Aldo fight. He's never gonna slide that away by getting a few wins. But at the same time, just chill with the crazy hate. Like, we can hate, but to a level, to an extent. But Mario Batista, man, I don't think he's going nowhere, like, future wise. But the hate's unreal, man. The hate's too much. It's too much, boys. It's too much. Come on, like, let's just chill. But we're gonna move on to Matus Gamrot. Gamrot, man, Gamer Gamrot. Uh, the guy's an average, like, lightweight fighter, man, and people pretend like this guy is dog shit. People be saying feed Gamrot to, like, the craziest unranked opponents. Like, I don't understand how people believe that Gamrot is a bum when he beat Arman Sarukian, who is the number 2 right now fighting for the title. Or, sorry, number 1 right now fighting for the title. Like, what are we talking about, boys? What are we doing? Like, Gamrot is a good fighter, all right? He is one of the best wrestlers in lightweight. Islam Makhachev said it himself, man. If you look at the best wrestlers in lightweight, you got Islam, you got Gamrot, and then you got Arman. Seriously, because Gamrot beat Arman, and it was a fair win. It was a solid win for sure. And Arman's gone further in his career. He's gotten some more wins. Gamrot's had a couple slip ups, but I watched back that Hooker fight, and I'm gonna be real. I love Dan Hooker. Everybody loves Dan Hooker. Amazing fighter. I'm super glad he won that fight, but I think Gamrot won that fight based off of damage and control. He did win that fight. But it's gonna be fun to see Hooker, back up it's fun to see Hooker back up in the rankings. But Gamrot did get robbed a little bit, just a little bit. It was very close, hard decision for sure. But yeah, man, Gamrot gets so much hate. He gets so much hate for no reason. Like, I don't understand how people are out here calling him a bum. when he's one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. Seriously, and I mean, I've said it multiple times in different videos. Wrestling's the base for the UFC, base for MMA in general. I think it is the most important, crucial martial art to know. And Gamrot's super good at that. And his striking is actually has gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better. It was proven in the Dan Hooker fight. He was throwing hands, and he may not have the biggest power, he may not have the best power, but he definitely throws. He definitely throws. He puts himself in the fire. I think a lot of people don't like him because of the Ralph Fiziev fight, the Hooker fight as well. Even though he didn't win that, it was kind of people just don't like the way he fights. I understand it's a specific fight style that some people may not like, but we need to chill, man. He's a good lightweight. He'll never really reach that pinnacle of championship, but he'll be a good fighter that will beat a lot of these guys trying to break into the top 10. So Gamrot's going to be there for a while. Gamrot going to stick around, man. But we're going to move on to who I was talking about earlier, Movsar Evloev. Very hated UFC fighter. There's a clear reason to why. Everybody knows why he's one of the most hated UFC fighters. He's got no finishes in the UFC, not a single finish, no submission, no KO. And he's had 10 fights, 8, 9, 10 fights around there. He's won every single fight. Don't get me wrong, all by decision, but he's becoming worse than Bilal, and he's becoming worse than Leon Edwards, man. Same thing. Some of these guys that are decision machines. I'm sorry, Marab. I was trying to think of the decision machines, man. But Evloev might be the decision machine, man. If he beats Ilya Taporia and he takes the belt, people might just stop watching featherweight as a whole, man. People might just stop watching the UFC as a whole. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if Evloev becomes champ, it might be a problem. It might be a problem, but no hate here, right? No hate. There is a reason to not hate Evloev, man. He's a very fun wrestler. People think, okay, just because he doesn't get finishes, boring, boring, boring. Like these fans, the problem with these fans, the UFC fan base, they just want more. I mean, I'm a UFC fan. Of course I want more as well, but like, chill. Chill, real shit. Like, this guy's a great wrestler. He's a great grappler. His striking's gotten a lot better. That fight that he had with Aljo was super entertaining. I was more entertained by the fight with Aljo than the fight with Shavkat and Ian Gary. I swear I was more on my feet with the fight with Movsar and Aljo than Shavkat and Ian Gary, man. So like, chill on this, man. And Movsar deserves a title shot. I'm gonna be honest. I've talked about this before. Movsar deserves a title shot. He's been around for a minute. He's been fighting a decent amount, and he's gotten some pretty good wins. He's beat Diego Lopez. He's beat Arnold Allen. He's beat freaking Aljamain Sterling. Like, these are good wins, all right? These are good wins. A lot of those were very close wins, but in each one, I could see why Movsar won. I do think a rematch versus Lopez would be entertaining, but I think he wins that. I think he wins it even more clear than he did before. People would disagree, but I think Movsar has gone better in the striking, and his wrestling is even better. His grappling is even better. Unlike Lopez, who's only really advanced his striking. So that would be a fun rematch, but I do think Movsar deserves the title shot, and I think we need to chill on all the hate on Movsar because, even though he just has decisions nonstop, he does have a lot of consistent, very entertaining fights. I would say if you are a fan of MMA, you would be able to appreciate his fight style, his wrestling, his grappling. It's very entertaining. But we will move on to the next and the final one, Nasruddin Imavov, man. I think Imavov gets a lot of hate. I think he gets a lot of hate. I understand why he gets a lot of hate, but I think he doesn't deserve it because he is a good middleweight, excuse me, and he's in the top 5. He's cracked into the top 5. People forget that he's in the top 5, man. He's fighting Izzy. He's fighting Israel Adesanya very soon in February, and that's gonna be, if he wins that fight, he's gonna get a title shot. And people might not even realize. Like, I didn't even realize that Imavov skyrocketed that much in the rankings. It was kind of crazy to me. I was like, damn. I was like, damn, Imavov is like top 5 right now. I couldn't believe it, but he's had good wins. He's had solid wins. But I think he's gotten a lot of hate due to the Jared Cannonier fight, which I do understand. That was an early stoppage, definitely an early stoppage. I think everybody can agree that was one of the earliest stoppages of the year when that fight happened. It was kind of soul crushing for Jared Cannonier, but it happens. It's just bad reffing. It's bad reffing. It's not the fighter's fault. It's not Imavov's fault. He was dealing an immense amount of damage to Cannonier. He probably would have finished that fight if he kept jabbing and hooking. He was hooking him up against the fence. Jabs, jabs, jabs. He was destroying Cannonier's face. Cannonier looked like he was spinning around. So I understand, it's not Imavov's fault, man. I always mess up these names. Imavov's fault. It's not his fault. You can't blame him. You can't put all the hate on him. It's bad reffing at the end of the day. It's bad reffing, and he did deserve the win. If it would have gone the distance, Imavov would have won either way, and people would have had to shut up. So, you know what I mean? You can't control everything. UFC fans just always they always want to talk shit. It's understandable, but they always want to talk shit. But yeah, this guy, he's in the rankings. He's high up in the rankings, and if he ends up somehow getting a title shot, getting the belt, I don't know if he'll get past Izzy, but we'll see. If he gets a title shot or he gets the belt, people are going to have to shut their mouths, man. They're going to have to shut their mouths, and they'll have to put some respect on this guy's name. But that's the whole video for you boys. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below who you guys think are some of the most hated fighters, in the UFC. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.